I feel like this may be one of the most controversial iPhones that Apple has released in the past few years. There are some awesome new features on it, but there are also a few features where you just think, why? Now, of course, the biggest change is the design, and it's in a direction that I feel like actually makes a lot of sense for the Pro lineup. I've mentioned in my previous iPhone Pro model sort of reviews that iPhones feel like pieces of jewelry. They're usually made from glass, stainless steel. They just feel expensive and premium. Now, I feel like that actually isn't the case anymore with the 17 Pro. I think it looks a lot more utilitarian, much more like a tool rather than a pretty phone. I wouldn't say it's stunning looking, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's ugly either. I still do think it's quite a good looking phone. They've also now gone from titanium to aluminium. Unfortunately though, aluminium is softer than titanium. So there are a few pictures and videos and stuff of people showing how easily you can sort of dent and scratch the titanium. I have the silver model here, so I feel like it holds up a lot better, but I know the midnight blue, dark blue, and the cosmic orange, they're much more likely to show any scrapes and scratches and stuff. But if you're someone who does like to protect their iPhone, I feel like more than ever, you probably need a case now. I don't always like to use a case, but I found that I am using a case more often, just so that I don't easily sort of scratch it and dent it. As you can see, this is the silver colorway, and I just much prefer it compared to the other colors. I'm not even mad that there isn't a black colorway. It is surprising that they haven't done a black, but I think silver is back in right now. The silver color, I think, looks awesome. The cosmic orange though, let's just say that's interesting. When I first got the cosmic orange, I was quite surprised at how brightly colored it was. I'm personally not a fan of it, but I know some people are, and that's completely okay. It's down to personal preference. I don't think there is a sort of wrong or right color. I just personally think the right color is silver. They have also made the phone a bit thicker and heavier, but not by much. And I actually think that's a good thing because that means a bigger battery. There is a glass plate on the back of the phone breaking up the sort of aluminium unibody design. And that's due to MagSafe and wireless charging. Of course, that sort of thing won't work through metal. However, due to this new design, it does also significantly help when it comes to cooling and performance. Now that there is a new vapor chamber, which essentially just spreads the heat more evenly across the phone, there isn't as much of a sort of hotspot as there was before on previous iPhones. I found that when I've been editing photos in Lightroom or editing videos in some random video editing app, the phone doesn't get anywhere near as hot and renders any changes noticeably quicker. I've also found that the sort of dreaded screen dimming, you know, when the phone gets hot and the screen starts dimming in brightness, that happens a lot less now. So that vapor chamber really does actually make a difference when it comes to usability of the 17 Pro. There is also the new processor, the A19 Pro, and this is simply where Apple are cheating. They are just somehow beating everyone. Every other smartphone manufacturer out there, they just seem to be beating them in pretty much every single department. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they've sort of just leapfrogged the competition so much, but yeah, they are just so far ahead. Also, I wanted to quickly thank Dropbox for sponsoring this video. So I've actually been a paying user of Dropbox for over 10 years now. It's probably one of the longest subscriptions I've had purely because of how useful it has been throughout my whole creative career. I use Dropbox to organize and share files with my small team, all the way from branding images to website code. Being able to have everything in one place, easy to share and synced across multiple devices is what makes Dropbox so useful for me. So it was the number one reason why I signed up. I can also share any file with anyone too, making it easy to share content with anyone on my team. I can also take this a step further and use Dropbox Transfer to share files up to 256 gigabytes with one link. This is perfect for when I need to send a large photo or video files to clients or friends after a shoot. If I ever change a file or delete it by accident, Dropbox has an option to easily revert to a previous version or restore a deleted file. This is absolutely invaluable when working with the team and sharing files with clients. It gives me peace of mind that my files are always safe. But what has me most excited is Dropbox's newest tool, Dropbox Dash, that lets you do things like find files across your Dropbox and use AI to summarize your content. Dropbox Dash uses AI to help you find content and get answers across your Dropbox and your favorite work apps, as well as stay organized and draft content fast. They have a universal search tool, and it can bring all of your content across all of your apps like Notion, Slack, Google Drive, OneDrive, into a one searchable hub. If you have thousands of files, many folders deep, it can be a lot faster just to use Dropbox Dash to find what you need. There's also stacks, which are collections of folders, files, links, and more. that you can use to organize projects or your workflow. If you're handing a project over to a client or a team member, you can create and share a stack to keep everyone organized. Make sure to check out Dropbox whether you work in a team or need to share files with clients. It's an amazing service that I've been personally using for over 10 years now. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. And thanks again to Dropbox for sponsoring this video. When it comes to battery life, I'm not seeing a massive difference, but I know for a lot of people there is. And the reason why I'm not seeing a massive difference is because I actually like to use my iPhone to shoot a lot of pro raw images, lots of high resolution video, and that naturally decreases battery life massively because it takes a lot of processing power. But I have found that when I'm not sort of shooting photos and stuff, yeah, it will easily go through a day, no problem. I feel like iPhones now generally can usually get you through a day. Fellow YouTuber Tom the Tech Chap actually did a battery comparison, and he found that the standard Pro, the 17 Pro here that I have, performed better than last year's 16 Pro Max. Not by much, it's only by like 5 minutes, but this is the smaller phone, this is the Pro model, and it's beating last year's Pro Max model. So clearly, the bigger battery, the performance, the chip and everything, it's just making a big difference and making sure that it lasts longer. The camera. So this is what I'm personally most interested in. This is what actually keeps me upgrading every year. It's the camera updates on the iPhone. I want the best camera you can get in a phone. I want to be able to take high quality pictures and high quality video. And there are actually very few phones that can package both up into one. Apple is the king right now at being able to do both. But something that's interesting is Apple say on their own website that it's like having 8 Pro lenses in your pocket. Now, this is something that some people disagree with. Some people are outright saying that Apple is lying, cheating. This isn't, you don't actually have 8 lenses, because technically you do only have 3 cameras and 3 lenses. But the way they're sort of saying it's like, I can see why, because these 3 cameras and the way they've updated them, now that they're all 48 megapixel, there's just so much you can do with them. Now that they have updated the telephoto to have 48 megapixels, all 3 cameras now are 48 megapixel, which means very high resolution images. The telephoto now has actually gone from a 5 times to a 4 times. And when you shoot at 4 times, you get the full 48 megapixels. But you can also crop into 8 times and it'll give you a 12 megapixel image. As expected though, the pictures that come out of this thing just look incredible. I primarily shoot in Pro Raw and then add some presets, and boom, it completely transforms the look and the mood of the images that I shoot. I'll leave a link to my camera settings and my presets down in the description below, so make sure to check that out. What I find most impressive is how natural the images look. However, what is surprising is that the main camera on the iPhone 17 Pro is actually using the same main camera from the 16 Pro, which is actually using the same main camera from the 15 Pro. So this is actually the 3rd generation of that main sensor, which, to be honest, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that they would upgrade the main sensor to be even bigger, because generally the bigger the sensor, the high quality images you get, they just usually look better because it can capture more light, more detail, stuff like that. Generally, that's not the actual rule, but generally a bigger sensor is better. It's definitely not a bad thing though, because obviously the 15 Pro and the 16 Pro already take amazing pictures. I feel like iPhones are just getting ever closer to sort of pro cameras, and I found myself leaving my pro camera more often than not and just using my iPhone when I'm going out and I know I'm going to be taking pictures and videos. As long as I don't sort of have like a specific shoot that I go to, I just don't really carry around my mirrorless as much. For me, it really is all about convenience. The iPhone is just convenient. Knowing that I have 3 cameras with all these lenses and all these sort of focal ranges and stuff, all in this package that is, can just fit in your pocket. It blows my mind every time. It blows my mind that phones have gotten this good, because this isn't even a phone anymore. I see this as a camera, which just happens also to be a phone. You know what is funny though? The camera control button. That is something that I have barely used. I just don't use. I would not miss it if it was gone. And when it first launched, I was very interested in it. I was very excited about it. I thought I was going to use the camera control, but I just don't use it. I actually find it more of a pain now. Say you are taking a vertical picture and you have your thumb on it. To press it, you end up shaking the phone just a little bit because you have to press it quite hard to take the picture. And when that happens, I found that my pictures just come out blurry because I've been unable to hold the phone steady. Now, when I do it like this with 2 hands, it's fine. It's just doing it like this. I found it a lot more convenient to actually just press the button on the screen because I know it will usually be sharper. The front-facing camera has now gone through a massive change. It's just so much better compared to the previous camera. Now, I'm not someone who takes selfies much, so for me it doesn't matter too much, but it's 18 megapixels now, it's a square sensor. You don't have to worry about if you're doing it this way, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can change it. Yeah, it's really good. For those people who like to take selfies, I feel like they're really going to enjoy it. One huge change which I noticed straight away is the screen brightness. Now that it goes up to 3000 nits, oh guys, like it just makes such a big difference. It's something that you don't really think about until you start using it. When I'm using this phone in bright sunlight, I have no issues looking at the phone itself. When I'm using Apple CarPlay and stuff and I have it set up in my car, I can see the phone fine. When I'm taking pictures in really bright sunlight, again, I can see the screen fine. I'm so glad that they've done this change because it really does make a big difference to just everyday usability. And then there's the new ceramic shield too, which makes a huge difference to avoiding scratches. Now, I'm not someone who uses a screen protector anyway, because I found that previous iPhones do a good job of resisting scratches anyway. But knowing that there's a new version and it can really do such a good job of resisting scratches, I don't think you're going to need a screen protector. Apple is cheating here, and in a good way. Somehow every year with all the changes they somehow make a better phone. With this new redesign and stuff, I do like the look of the Pro. I personally actually prefer the Air. I think the Air is the nicer phone this year. I'll have a review on the Air soon. If you're someone who is upgrading from a 16 Pro, probably not worth it. It might be worth waiting for the next version. But if you're upgrading from a 14 Pro, definitely worth it. If you're upgrading from a 15 Pro, yeah, pretty worth it if you're on a 2-year cycle. Yeah, Apple have done a really good job with this. I love the new 48 megapixel telephoto lens. I see myself using that a lot over the next year, especially because I'm going to Japan in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be taking a lot of pictures with this thing. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.